Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we're going to take a look at something that we probably should have looked at a long time ago. We're taking a look at a Constructicon, and this one up is the construction engineer and Constructicon leader, Scrapper. Scrapper would be released in 1985. He would also be available in 1986. He would be discontinued by 1987, and we would not get a replacement for him. Now, while the tech spec only lists him as a construction engineer, it's pretty much well accepted, especially thanks to the cartoon, that Scrapper here is also the leader of the Constructicons. The More Than Meets the Eye guide hints the fact that Megatron debated between letting Scrapper or Hook be the leader, but chose Scrapper due to the fact that Scrapper is overly modest and would not turn down the role. But as such, Scrapper's also proven to be quite capable as a leader of the group, at least when they're not in their combined form. When they're all together, all bets are off. At any rate, let's take a look at Scrapper. And let's look at his articulation. He can rotate his arms at the shoulder, but they only move 180 degrees. This is due to the fact that Scrapper forms one of the legs of Devastator, and this was before they had the foot pads. So the arms are meant to lock into the position so they don't wobble loose and cause him to fall down. He also has articulation at the knee, so you can bend his legs at the knee. And of course, as you've seen from the glaring flashes on the camera, he does have some very nice chrome legs. This is my original Scrapper from when I was a child. So as you can see, after 30 years, he's still got very good chrome on his legs. That's just beautiful, man. And this is from a toy that did see quite a lot of action, because my brother and I wanted to build Devastator badly, so we annoyed the heck out of our parents for the longest time to get these guys. Alright, at any rate, let's transform Scrapper. And of course, to start that off, we've got to remove the gun. Set it aside. I'm going to bring his arms down all the way. Raise the shovel up a bit so that we can push his head back in, and then bring the shovel all the way down. And then we come back here to his legs and fold them up and lock them into place. And then there you have his alternate mode. He's a payloader. Not really sure as to the exact model of payloader that Scrapper is, but he's a payloader. And of course, you do have articulation here on the shovel. So you can raise the shovel up and put pretend dirt in there or even other stuff. Well, heck, drop his gun in there and he can carry it off wherever he wants. Unfortunately, age doesn't keep the payloader arm up unless it's in the full up position, and that's for the Devastator leg mode. But if it's not in that, then gravity's going to obviously take hold and pull it down. Let's raise it up a little bit so we don't drag it on the ground. And how well does he roll? Surprisingly, he's on plastic wheels, not rubber, like what was still being used, but rolls pretty smooth on this surface. So, that's at least a nice feature about him. He does roll pretty good. course, there is one other feature about this mode. It can be put into an attack mode with the included Devastator part. You just connect these posts on the back of the payloader into a couple of the holes on the wing. And now he's an attack payloader. Which, I mean, the guns on it are basically shooting through the cab. So I don't think it's entirely accurate, but I'm guessing more of us kids just would hold it like this and assume he's flying through the air. Which, while it looks kind of stupid, if it is snugly secured like this is, he's not letting go, folks. He's holding on good, so... I mean, despite how stupid looking it is, it does swoosh pretty good. Now we'll take a look at Scrapper's loose parts. We'll start, of course, with the part for Devastator. This is the Super Wing, which basically forms the chest plate for Devastator. On the back side, it's hollow in the centerpiece. It does have the connection point, all the connection points to connect it to hook, so it can be used as a chest plate. You just got to watch. The wings are very thin plastic, as you can see, so they will stress wear easily if you're not careful. And then, of course, we have Scrapper's gun. It's listed on the cards as a laser pistol. All the Constructicons carried a basic laser pistol. This one's not bad. It's got a nice long barrel to it. Get my fingers off of it. I like the little circle detail here in the middle of the gun. Don't know exactly what sort of function it would have, but it's there and I like it. And lastly, you have a piece that's not listed on the card, but listed in a lot of the other material. We have the roof. The roof of the payloader does come off very easily and is quite commonly missing on loose samples. So always check to make sure Scrapper has this when you're buying a loose one. Because you can imagine they are not easy to replace and probably quite frequently are broken with these small posts here underneath, but definitely a part you don't want to have to track down. Now let's take a look at Scrapper's file card, and unfortunately it's not in the best of shape. But at least the backside is usable, so we'll go with that. Up here at the top, you had the nice promo for Devastator. As if we didn't have enough going on with that. Devastator had his own commercial and made numerous appearances in the cartoon, so Hasbro created probably too much demand for him. As you can see here, all 6 guys that you needed to get him. Scrapper was number 3. Right next to it is the robot points. Surprisingly, Scrapper was worth 1 whole point. And then there was the barcode. And there's plenty of room for the directions on what to do with Scrapper himself. How to mount the wing to the payloader. And then transforming the payloader into the robot. Put the stickers on. And, of course, save the robot points and how to read the tech spec, which dominates the bottom of the card. So we'll start by taking a look at that. It's all done up in purple to show he's a Decepticon. It lists him as a Constructicon. And the picture, of course, here matches the one that's on the front of the package. It gives his name as Scrapper and lists his function as construction engineer. His motto is, "My work is a monument to and of my enemies." A wizard at designing fortresses and energy plants, but modest. Shows his true malevolent genius by incorporating defeated Autobots into his building structures. Shovel can slice through 12-inch thick carbon steel, lift 30 tons. As right leg and part of torso, combines with fellow Constructicons to form giant robot Devastator. So right away we get something of a feel as to how powerful he can be. And what kind of sick genius he is. Now we'll put the decoder here over the graph and take a look at his stats. It gives his strength as 8, his intelligence is also 8, his speed is 4, his endurance is 7, his rank is 5, as is his courage, his firepower is 3, and his skill is 9. So he does have the strength and brains to back up his skill, but he doesn't have a whole lot of anything else going for him. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Scrapper? Scrapper was always one of my favorites growing up. He was the second Constructicon that I received, because I only got half of them. My brother got the other half. So, I always enjoyed Scrapper, especially with him being the de facto leader. As you know, older brothers like to be the leader. But I also liked how his alternate mode turned out. It definitely left a lot for the imagination. It always made me regret not having a sandbox as a kid. I would have loved to have had these guys out there and wasted away hours just moving sand from one place to another. I'm sure a lot of you get that idea too. But at any rate, overall the toy still holds up very well, even from 30 plus years ago. I mean, looking back on him, I've seen just how well he's held up. This was definitely one that was made back at the time when Hasbro was willing to give us a good quality toy that could hold up, and this one is definitely one of them that has stood the test of time. As far as the character goes, Scrapper's kind of on the timid side. The lack of any real courage in him does kind of weaken his effectiveness as the leader. But then again, the Constructicons get more of their courage boost when they're merged as Devastator. Because when they're in the giant robot mode, they know they're next to invincible, and they like to play that up whenever they can. If you don't believe me, think about the fight inside Astrotrain during the animated movie. Scrapper's only reasoning as to why he and his group should lead the Decepticons was because they formed the mighty Devastator, the most powerful robot. But I think Soundwave hit the note right on the bell with that by flat out telling the Constructicons how inferior they were. But of course, then again, that's what started the fight in the first place. But it does also prove the point that without the combined mode of Devastator, the Constructicons more or less are nothing without that mode to fall back on. And unfortunately, a lot of that can be attributed to their leader, Scrapper. Because if he had more backbone to go with it, he'd probably be able to do more with it. Unfortunately, though, his modesty tends to kick in, and that kind of hurts him a bit. But even with all that, I'm still going to put Scrapper here in the top tier of Transformer toys. Since, I mean, like you've seen here with my example, this one is one that has held up pretty well over the course of 30 plus years. So, if you can find a toy that can last like that, it's a definite keeper, folks. So definitely a top tier toy for any collector of transforming robots. And that concludes my review of the 1985 Decepticon Construction Engineer Scrapper. If you like the video, please leave a thumbs up here on YouTube. And new viewers, please hit that subscribe button down below and join our ranks. Please also ring the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Also, please consider sharing your thoughts about Scrapper in the comments section down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.